Well, hello, folks. I'm Jeffrey Darty, the Christian Whistleblower, and we're finishing up today our covering of my latest appearance on Coast to Coast, which was on Thursday, October the 13th. We talked about the Mandela effect, the Prophet Daniel, and Antichrist. The other videos are linked up in the box below this video. There's actually a nice playlist, which I will have added this video to by the time you see it. I want to remind you that tomorrow, which will be Sunday, October 23rd, as always at noon Eastern Time, we will be having our NCK Center live, and that's basically a weekly get-together for those that are tired of big-time religion but are still seeking the wisdom of Yeshua and still seeking some fellowship as well. I had an update that someone gave me on the Mandela effect. A self-proclaimed Disney expert, a person that is a Disneyophile, if there is such a thing, goes to the parks all the time, has all the movies, a Disney freak, basically. And she is a grown woman, so she's had a lot of time to look this over. And she says, in regards to Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, Magic Mirror on the Wall, she says that she remembers the evil queen saying both in the movie. Now, I haven't been able to substantiate that the queen says both in the movie, and I've done some research which indicates that, without a doubt, the original Brothers Grimm story, translated from the original Deutsch or German into English, does say mirror, mirror on the wall. However, all of my research continues to point to the fact that she said magic mirror on the wall in the Disney classic film of 1938, I believe it was. I have not seen it say mirror, mirror on the wall or mirror, mirror on the wall. All I've seen is magic mirror. If you do have a clip of it saying magic mirror or mirror, mirror on the wall in the actual Disney film, please forward it to me. And remember, there was a Julia Roberts movie, a takeoff on Cinderella, that was called Mirror, Mirror. So very, very curious and very, very interesting things as relates to the Mandela effect. And one of the most interesting things that I've ever heard about the Mandela effect was brought up by George Norrie on the show Thursday the 13th. This is the 22nd, so it's just over a week ago. George said that he was getting, they have live chat, and of course, George monitors his email during the program. And George said that there's many people that actually believe that the Mandela effect started on Coast to Coast AM. And the Mandela effect started on Coast to Coast AM when people began calling in to then host Art Bell and saying that they had seen word about Nelson Mandela dying in prison. Now, we can go back to the archives, and I'm sure that George mentioned that on the air. They will go back to the archives, so I look forward to hearing more about this. But how fascinating that the Mandela effect itself and the death of Nelson Mandela, the controversy surrounding the death of Nelson Mandela, be it in prison or years later after being released from prison and ascending to the presidency of South Africa. Very, very interesting. And to find out that here we are in 2016, it was October the 13th, and we're talking about the Mandela effect. And to find out that we may have been talking about the Mandela effect in the very place that the Mandela effect started. Now, I've also heard from friends and neighbors that there have been supposedly medical doctors that have documented changes in human anatomy. I have myself been unable to confirm those. So if you do believe that, please forward me the evidence, and I will certainly carefully weigh it and look at it. You can send it to me at christianwhistleblower jeffrey@gmail.com, or just go to my website, jeffreydarty.com or christianwhistleblower.com, click the contact button, and you can leave the information right there as well. And I will be doing, probably later today for release next week, a piece on the Mandela effect. Has it hit the Bible? I continue to get many questions and many purported expert opinions about the multiplicity of verses in the Bible that have been changed. Well, we're going to go ahead and address that straight on again in a video. Mandela effect, has it affected the Bible, or has it hit the Bible? I believe I called it. And I'll probably record that later today, and we'll have it out for your consumption next week, along with a great teaching on why time flies. And that probably relates back to the Mandela effect in a roundabout way as well. But it was very, very interesting to have George bring up the fact that the Mandela effect could very well have had its start in and on Coast to Coast, which was just amazing to me that we could have discovered that and came to understand that and came to know that just by being, on Coast to Coast and talking again about the Mandela effect. So it was very, very interesting. It was very, very thought-provoking, and I'm certainly glad that George brought it up, because it's just another one of those things, man, that the more you talk about it, the more you discuss it, the more you discover these type of things. And that's one reason why they don't want us talking about politics or religion, because when we begin to discuss, we begin to find things that have been hidden, that the fix is in, that they're both two heads of a great dragon that are working against us. And then George also asked me, did I believe that the Mandela effect was being caused by Antichrist? Was Antichrist involved in the Mandela effect? And when we went back to the verse in Daniel, we saw that Daniel said he will think to create diverse timelines. He will think to change specific events and notable characteristics of time. He will think to do these things. A specific personage in the future would think to do these things. And it's very interesting when we go back to the field of dreams, where it's been changed from if you build it, they will come, to if you build it, he will come. And Daniel himself said he will think to change these specific events, change these notable characteristics of time, create diverse timelines. It becomes almost stunning to imagine that Daniel 3,000 years ago was so accurate that he would even pinpoint with exact specificity one of the biggest and clearest Mandela effects. So according to my studies, and we'll talk about that more in the Mandela effect, has it hit the Bible? I do believe that, at least in the opinion of Daniel, and I happen to agree with Daniel from a textual biblical standpoint, at least in the opinion of Daniel, that yes, the Antichrist is front and center in the Mandela effect, or at least the being or entity that Daniel identified as Antichrist is front and center in the Mandela effect. And of course, George asked the natural follow-up question, why would the Antichrist be interested in perpetrating something like the Mandela effect? Why would the Antichrist care about changing Snow White, for heaven's sake? Why would the Antichrist care about changing Forrest Gump, Field of Dreams, Interview with a Vampire? I think there's some very interesting, I guess to be honest, I have to call them speculations that I have bouncing through my head, and we'll talk about those at another place and time as well. But it's not so much the what of the Mandela effect that Antichrist was intending to perpetrate, but the why. And Daniel made it very, very clear that he was doing it, the he that Daniel was speaking of, which I thoroughly believe is Antichrist. And as you continue to go on in the prophecies of Daniel, he only uses that language in reference to the being that he calls the Antichrist and other portions of the scriptures of Daniel. And the important thing is what that Antichrist power was attempting to do with the Mandela effect, and that is to suppress knowledge, to suppress the unveiling of knowledge. And really, George asked me, and this is amazing. A lot of times when I go on Coast, George will say something or ask something that creates a brand new opening for me or shows some very stupendous truth that I've never experienced. And George has his critics, but I tell you what, man, every time I'm on that show, he's on point. Every time I'm on that show, he's engaged. Every time I'm on that show, George is one of the better hosts that I ever speak to. And I kind of, why do we have to pick one or the other of the hosts of Coast to Coast? Why can't we just enjoy what it is? And why can't we just be complimentary to one another? You never build yourself up by tearing anyone else down. And all I can say is kudos to George. I think he does a fine job on the show, and especially when I'm on and when I listen, he does a great job on the show. But he said to me, he said, Jeff, and now I lost my train of thought on that particular thing. But the Antichrist, on knowledge and revelation, George talked about the apocalypse. Jeffrey, apocalypse is a word that scares me. Why? And he didn't know what he was doing. I submit questions before I go on Coast to Coast. That wasn't one of the questions I submitted. It came from him. And it's interesting because the word apocalypse simply means unveiling. We believe it's a scary, end of days, horrible word, but it really just means the unveiling. And that's really what the Antichrist is perpetrating the Mandela effect to stop, is an unveiling of spiritual truth, an unveiling of spiritual wisdom, an unveiling even of, and I wondered what it meant, but it also means in the Greek, a unveiling of scientific events and an unveiling of physical events. So that's why I'm open to discussion of changes in anatomy and physical changes within the human form, because Daniel's word of what the Antichrist is trying to prevent, the Antichrist is trying to prevent knowledge from being exposed. He's trying to prevent an unveiling of spiritual knowledge, scientific knowledge. It could also be called a disclosure, and also knowledge relating to our physical well-being. So, man, there's just so much going on. And George said something towards the end of the program that frankly blew my mind. He said, Jeffrey, you're one of our very best guests. Anytime you want to come on, just let Lisa know, that being producer Lisa Lyon, whom I work through. And that was just wow, what can I say? And I do believe that our work is on the precipice of really exploding. I do need your help. I need you to subscribe to this channel. I need you to like these videos. I need you to share these videos. I need you to meditatively consider making financial contributions. And if you can't make financial contributions, at least spread these videos, spread this message, tell your favorite radio hosts you want me on, tell your favorite TV hosts they should have me on. Do all you can do to help spread this message, because together we will defeat the Antichrist. Together we will continue to expose and bring down the Lion Lord. And I don't mean L-I-O-N, I mean L-Y-I-N apostrophe. Because we are not going to stop. We are not going to slow down. Conversely, this is the year of the Christian whistleblower. This is the year of the gospel gunner, and we're about ready to break out wall to wall and treetop tall, pedal to the metal. We're about ready to get off the porch and run in the high grass with the big dogs. It's only going to get better from here. I want you to be a part of it. And look tomorrow for the NCK Center Live. Look in the coming days for Mandela Effect, has it hit the Bible? And look for Why Time Flies. Go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com. Go to my Twitter and follow me there, like me there. Go to Facebook and continue to watch these videos, share these videos, and subscribe to this channel, because you never know what you're going to do when the truth of the scriptures break out all over you. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, promising you that life gets so much better when you indoctrinate yourself.